In the late 1800s, both native people and wolves are being forced from the land. Hi, my name is Gavin, and welcome to Mag Reviews. In this episode, I will review the book Red Wolf. Red Wolf is a book written by Jennifer Dance and is set in the past around the late 1880s. The main characters in this book would be the boy Red Wolf and his animal companion Crooked Ear, who is a wolf. Red Wolf is an Indian boy around the age of 6 who was raised in a village by his mother, his father, and other various Indians who taught Red Wolf many things. A wolf pup that is starving encounters this village and meets Red Wolf, who feeds the young pup and names it Crooked Ear because it has one ear that flops around. Not long after, a European rides into their village on a horse to inform them that they are forced by law to move all of their belongings to a new village they have made for them, and that the children will be taken to a school. I think what this book is really about is overcoming obstacles, as Red Wolf and Crooked Ear are both faced with new challenges and dangers they must overcome along the way. I would recommend this book for ages 10 and up. I really enjoyed the book around the start, but later on in the book I began to lose interest. The book was centered around the boy Red Wolf and his animal companion Crooked Ear, but after Red Wolf was taken away to a residential school, the story focused more on Red Wolf's side of the story. I think the reason the author did this was because the author wanted the book to focus more on what was happening to Red Wolf while he was in the residential school, which is why it would be a book about racism and poverty. But I feel as if Crooked Ear was just a side character for most of the book. There were parts of the story where they focused more on Crooked Ear, but only for a few pages. I also began to realize while reading, I began to lose focus while reading, because I thought the plot of the story began to repeat itself. It just focused on what was happening with Red Wolf, but it did have some very interesting parts that really encouraged me to continue reading this book, because some of the things these people would do to these children just because they had a religion different to their own were very cruel. But that is why these residential schools were made. The goal of these schools were to completely change and erase the Indian inside of the children. Most of the time, if children misbehaved, they would be hit with a meter stick. But sometimes the punishment would be more severe, like being whipped with a whip made with a sort of pelt. The children would be forced to work for hours on end, non-stop, no matter how intense the sun was that day. I really enjoyed this book, and I would give it a 4 stars out of 5, because it was a good book and it kept me engaged for most of the story. This marks the end of this Mag Reviews podcast. Thanks for tuning in.